morning all, Fictionality here. It is currently 6:07 AM and it is time for some hobby. Yes, so as you can see, I got through a lot of ghouls and these guys are mostly done. I've gotten the base coats and the hair and the bone all finished. And what's left for them is to just kind of mix up the colour a bit. I'll try and get him a little more in focus. There we go. And so yeah, I've actually got one that I've gone through to completion with. Well, as complete as I could get at the moment. And you can see that the ground is still just a uniform brown colour because I'll be doing the crackle texture and that paint hasn't been released yet. So this is the final look of the ghouls that I'm going for. And as you can see, it's a little more of a mottled appearance than normal guys. Blah. And I'm just dropping things everywhere. Okay, so they're the two of them side by side. You can see that this guy here has a little bit of extra colour on him that I think just makes it look a little more interesting. And all that is, it's just different shades and stuff like that to bring out the different colours. So I've gone with Seraphim Sepia over like what would be the tougher areas, so like the top of the head and the back and places like that. And then for more of the fleshier areas, I've gotten Reichland Flesh Shade, and so yeah, that's like in behind the knees and any of the little areas where the skin has been stabbed through and all that, just to make it look a little more wounded and whatnot. You can see there's little bulbous areas have got a bit of a red tinge to them as well. I'm wanting to try out like the new blood paint on areas like this little dripping part there. Get him more in focus. So yeah, either have that as the blood or the slime stuff. But yeah, that'll take a bit of experimenting when the paints come out. And the general sort of gist of how I went about these guys, I had to keep it fairly simple so that I could get them done quickly. As you can see, I think I got them done relatively quickly, and particularly quite quickly in comparison to a lot of things that I end up painting, which is a good sign. So the basic sort of way I went about this was, well, everything was undercoated with Chaos Black. Then it was using, what was it, Reichland? No, not Reichland. Once I remember the name of the paint, Rakarth Flesh, that's the one. And then I did a dry brush of Screaming Skull, and then I went over the entire thing with Aethonian Camo Shade, and that's what gave it that nice sort of green appearance. Rather than actually using the green paints, it gives it a more washed out sort of feel, which I think looks rather nice. And you can see this little bit of flesh here that hasn't had the shade painted over the top of it yet. So that'll actually have a more of a fleshy look to make it look like he's ripped off someone's, I don't know what that's entirely meant to be, whether it's like a lung or just a piece of flesh, or if that's a bit of bone down the bottom there, but I'll get to that at some later stage. But yeah, that was how I did the skin. The bone was just Ushabti bone washed with Agrax, Ushabti bone highlighted with Screaming Skull. For some reason I'm just losing all the names of all the paints at the moment, but anyway, and then just a wash of of course I forget it, Agrax Earthshade, and yeah, I'll probably go back through and just do touch-up highlights with Screaming Skull and all the bone just to make it all stand out. But yeah, but as a unit as a whole, they seem to be turning out pretty good. There's not a whole lot left to do, as I said, just the extra sort of skin tones and stuff like that to just kind of mess up their appearance a bit, make them look a little more disgusting. And yeah, and then things like the claws and just metal areas and stuff like that. A couple of them have like rings or chains hanging off them. So yeah, I guess I'll be finishing up that today, and then hopefully moving on to what would be next, the Hex Wraiths or either the Vargeists. I think I might go with the Hex Wraiths because it's gonna be, the Vargeists are probably going to be done in a fairly similar sort of style where it's like painting up the flesh tones and using shades to get the colours that I want, whereas the Hex Wraiths will be using more just straight dry brushing techniques, and they shouldn't take very long at all. Well, that's the theory anyway. And yeah, so theory doesn't always work, but I'm going to give it a shot, see how it turns out. And yeah, so yeah, I have a whole heap of ghouls now, which is very, very useful. A few more things to finish up on them, but other than that, I should be getting on to a couple of other units today. Brilliant. And so, yeah, just like, subscribe, all that sort of nonsense, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, see ya.